You know, even when our channel started getting notoriety for those Lobotomy Corp videos, I was worried that there might come a point where the only noteworthy thing that we've ever done will have been those Lobotomy Corp videos.
Well, I mean...
Anyway, so here we are playing Darkest Dungeon again.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I just couldn't help but look at our analytics and see that like all the top videos
No, hang
are still
on.
Lobotomy Corp videos.
Now, don't forget that for some reason, Hot-Footed Frogs is like the all-time #1 singularity.
People apparently really have trouble.
Yeah.
People apparently have trouble finding those frogs.
And I mean, I needed a lot of frogs to upgrade my climbing gear, which is why I
Right.
shared the video.
Right, I was gonna ask you what are those even for again? And
Yeah.
you're right, it's the climbing, and that's actually a good equipment to invest in.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure if we could have the data and look at most used clothing of all time in Breath of the Wild, climbing gear is going to be leagues above everything else.
Yes, leagues of legends. Above,
Yeah.
everyone else. That was not forced at all. So
I know that when I wasn't wearing my war suit, my the ancient suit,
oh yeah,
it was all climbing gear.
I forgot you were one of the few people that actually went through the trouble of grinding that out.
It's a really good suit, and it looks cool.
I mean, actually, somebody I believe in one video had asked like what you were wearing
Yeah.
because they thought it looked really cool.
And it has the added bonus of negating most of the stupid challenge of those dark areas, because you can just see your Tron suit the whole time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
because it amused me, I gave Dismas's head.
oh yeah, that's right. I can't believe he's alive. Have we just not played with him? No, he's level 1.
I haven't had a chance to really play with him all.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been using like team comps that really like called for him.
Right.
And I also haven't been using Reynault very much because Reynault was a very broken individual who got like a new like horrible like thing like right off the bat.
Right.
See, actually he's fixed now. Like I can use him. I might as well use him recoup some of my investment.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about the spelling of his name. Reynaud.
Yeah, Reynault. Reynault, I believe.
Is it does the D turn into like a hard T?
Oh, he is Reynaud. I'm thinking of Reynault, who I believe was a character from the Canterbury Tales.
Oh, okay. I've not read.
I mean, I wouldn't expect you to. Like, I would not have read them if it wasn't required for my English class.
Yeah, I think the only...
Medieval literature turned out to be a lot less fun than you think it'd be. Based off the name. You think it's going to be cool, like King Arthur kind of stuff, and it turns out that's the chivalric period.
Oh, okay.
Medieval is actually referring to like fucking like ancient ass like literature that's like borderline Germanic.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
Like in terms of language.
Super Dark Ages.
Yeah, like you read Beowulf and it's ostensibly in medieval English, but it like barely like reads like English.
I saw there was some video on YouTube that went, you know, what if you could time travel back in time, and you went, I'll just go to somewhere where they spoke English so I can speak to people. And then he read Beowulf in the original English, the OG English, and just no idea.
That's pretty much my experience.
It was just Beowulf.
Because I had read Beowulf as a kid.
Yeah.
I love Beowulf. So I was so stoked to see it on the syllabus, and I crack open the version that we're reading. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And there's like a million footnotes on like every page.
Yeah.
Because there's so many words that are just straight up not in anything remotely resembling English.
Yeah.
And the person making the book has to win. Well, Hangla is often thought to refer to an expression in ancient Germanic.
Right.
Which means this.
I mean, I was entertained by that by that blasphemous remake with gold naked Angelina Jolie.
I never saw that one. I did see what I'm pretty sure was the much cooler and also more and even more blasphemous like Beowulf action movie from like the 80s.
Ooh.
Where Beowulf has a cool it's still like medieval, but Beowulf has a cool like long coat, and he like dual wields like hand crossbows.
Neat. It's like Hansel and Gretel, the one that had
Yeah.
Hawkeye guy and
Basically, yeah.
I saw that too.
It was that kind of movie.
That was a fun popcorn one.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. But yeah, I've never seen the one with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like the Angelina Jolie is the monster in the cave.
She's Grendel's mom, isn't she?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Okay.
I was going. Yeah. She's the mom of the monster, but it turns out that she is this weird entity that's just trying to do this weird kind of Xel'Naga from StarCraft objective where she just wants to make the perfect being.
Oh, okay.
And so she does that by finding really fit males and luring them to her cave and having hot gold sex with them. And then the ensuing baby is really strong because she is a dragon demon like thing. She's already a really super strong entity thing.
Right.
So she's combining the strongest man with her to make the strongerest being pop out of her. And then so the movie was Beowulf kills Grendel in an awesome action scene where he's flying around. The fight was like that fight with the lava thing in Other M, where you're just flying all over the place. But then he goes and he sees naked Angelina Jolie, and she's like, "Hey, you beat my guy. Guess he wasn't that strong.
Let's make a stronger baby.
Want to have sex?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah." And then the movie ends with like on a cliffhanger, like, "Oh, what's gonna be the stronger baby?" Because clearly it's gonna be stronger because he already beat Grendel, who was supposed to be the strongest. So now it's gonna be even better.
So they don't cover the whole thing where he fights a dragon and loses. Like that's the most important part of the story.
No, I think it's either that Angelina is the dragon but shapeshifted into a human, or that they just omitted that completely. Well, it's been a really long time since I've seen the movie.
I mean, the dragon thing is completely removed from the Grendel thing.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. They twisted it up, and it's not
right.
It's a complete reboot. It's not trying to be the poem.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that much, but it's as an aficionado of literature,
right.
It is annoying when they omit the most important. Wow, he failed a 90. 90% chance for success.
Yeah.
It's annoying when they omit the part that's the most important part of the story, because that's when Beowulf demonstrates that he. Oh, I got another head.
Huh.
Barristan's head. Oh, I believe that's a default name for the man-at-arms.
Oh, okay.
So,
I like how they just assume that your OG crew is dead by this point.
Gonna slap that on my tank here. I might have to give that to Jelter. Huh. Actually, yeah, because it increases the stress that they get, but she already cures her own stress. But that's he only goes to fight the dragon because he's been living, as a hero, as the guy who killed Grendel for many years now, and his life is completely meaningless without monsters to kill.
Right.
And he goes and fights the dragon, so he has like one last hurrah, and he gets his ass beat because he's old.
Yeah. But
it's just supposed to be tragic how he could never move beyond that.
Yeah, no. In this one, there was the old king, Beowulf's papa. And
well, that doesn't play into the story at all.
No, yeah. So they do have an old guy. I was just trying to find whatever parallels I could, right? So Beowulf's dad is this. He's this king, and he's old and kind of gray, but he's famous for going into the cave and slaying the mighty beast.
What's this cave we're talking about?
No, it's a cave where Angelina Jolie lives.
But that's not in the story.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. So he's famed for going into this cave and beating the horrible monster. And, you know, we don't know who the monster is. So then, his son, Beowulf, it's come time for him to be a man, and he wants to do something cool like his dad. So,
I mean, this isn't Beowulf. This is like an entirely different story.
Yeah, basically. So Beowulf's like, well, I'm gonna go into the cave like my dad and see if there's a monster I can fight. Oh no, because Grendel is attacking the village or whatever.
Right.
And he's going back to the cave. And he's like, all right, the dad's too old to go deal with Grendel, so Beowulf's gonna do it. And so he goes to the cave. He's like, Grendel, I'm gonna fight you. And he beats him. And then, you know, after he beats him, he hears something else deeper in the cave. And he goes and investigates. And it's naked Angelina Jolie all covered in liquid gold. And then, skip, long story short, the twist is that she was the monster that his old dad got famous for beating, who was attacking the village, you know, and he was just hiding it. He was like, okay, I totally beat it and I saved the village, when in reality he made a secret deal with her to, like, have a kid with her if she would stop attacking the village. You know, like, he fought her and she's like, you're real strong, I'll stop attacking the village if we have a kid, and he goes, yeah, and his cover story is, look, I defeated the monster. It's not attacking the village anymore. So Beowulf finds out the twist, and then he goes back home, and he's like, so I saw the monster. and his dad's like
really passive aggressively.
Yeah. And his dad's,
is there anything you want to tell me about that monster in the cave?
and it's like, but then he plays it off. It's kind of like he's this weird double cover story, because his dad goes, oh, you did you? What was it like? And Beowulf's just like, it was horrible, awful. It was a fearsome, ugly beast, and it was the worst. But I actually defeated it, unlike you who lied. But his dad's like, son, we know she's not horrible and ugly, don't we? Wink. And so he's like, you must not give in to her, otherwise you will, you know, her goal is to create the ultimate evil devil spawn. And he's like, oh yeah, no, don't worry, I totally didn't do that. Plot twist, he did. he had sex with her because she's too hot. and yeah. And then her spawn is like it's a huge Kraken thing, and then they fight it with the Metroid Other M lava guy, high flying cinematic action, and then he beats it. But then the end of the movie is just some weird cliffhanger of like Angelina Jolie just in the cave, like awaiting her next even stronger suitor to fucking. It's fun.
I mean, I like the way you were describing it. It's just, it bothers me that this bears zero resemblance to the actual story of Beowulf.
They just bought the name Beowulf,
That's what it sounds
but it's not Beowulf. They just bought the name. Like, it's, you know, a rose by any other name. Just read the original. Oh.
You know, it's funny, but my introduction to Beowulf actually came from a short story wherein a kid in the story was explaining, he was summarizing, the short story is basically a kid summarizing Beowulf for another character.
Huh. Okay.
So I experienced Beowulf in a weird, like, roundabout way first, and my reaction was, oh, that's a cool story, I'm going to actually read the story.
Yeah.
And then I read the actual story. But yeah, I always remember, and the thing was that short story, like the whole like it was mostly like just immaterial.
Yeah.
The way the story went was these scientists found like this monster just like washed up on a beach.
Okay.
It was already dead, so they were examining it and they're trying to figure out what to call it. And like one douchebag wants to call it Godzilla, and that pisses off the main character scientist because it's like, oh, so unscientific. And his kid is there, and he's like, well, why don't we call it Grendel? He's like, oh, that's not a bad name for it. And the douchebag's like, what the fuck is a Grendel?
Okay.
And the kid has to explain,
Oh, neat.
the story of Beowulf. And I just think the thing that sticks with me is I remember him describing Beowulf as... So Beowulf is this big old, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of dude.
Yeah.
Who just destroy, like, all the monsters.
All right.
And the whole reason they're going through all this rigmarole is that, like, after they're done, like, talking about Beowulf, like, they start hearing something really ominous.
Oh, the monsters wake it up?
They start hearing something really ominous, like, off in the distance. And then the kid's like, oh yeah, there's one more thing I forgot to mention about Beowulf. And then like an even bigger monster comes out of the ocean. They're like,
oh dude,
Beowulf Grendel had a mom.
Neat.
So it's like, it's kind of dumb because like Beowulf really has nothing to do with these monsters or anything. But
yeah.
I mean, it was like a fun like thing to read. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it was in like one of those like scary stories for kids. Like kind of compilations that were all the rage back in the day.
Yeah. Goosebumps.
It wasn't Goosebumps. I believe this was Bruce Coville's like Tales to Give You Shivers or something like that.
Okay.
He had like a whole like series of like Bruce Coville's aliens and stories to make you scared and stuff like that.
Tom Clancy's Aliens. Yeah.
I was very fond of those books. I'm very sad that I don't have them anymore. There was some really imaginative stuff in there. But I read a lot of Bruce Coville stuff when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. He wrote the seminal work of literature, Aliens Ate My Homework.
Ooh. Did they need the homework to because it had the equations to get their ship back to flying so they could go home?
I mean, it's slightly misleading because these aliens like, and it's not technically his homework. It's like it's like a paper mache volcano he's working on.
Oh, okay.
For science class, so it's like a project really. But
yeah,
these tiny aliens crash into his volcano and they start like processing the paper mache because they can use their Star Trek. We talked about this the other day. What do they call the machine on Star Trek that can just make anything?
Oh,
the fabricators or whatever.
Hold on.
Like we went through this before, and I was certain I knew it, and you told me that was not right. And then we looked it up, and I actually was wrong. So I'm afraid to guess what it is now.
Damn it! I want to say the replicator, but I'm just gonna look.
I think it actually is replicator.
Let me see. Hold on.
Right. But yeah, but basically, like they're quote unquote eating it. What they're actually doing is they're taking the paper mache and breaking it down into components that can be used by the replicator to make like actual like starship pieces.
Yes, it is the replicator. Okay, good.
So the title's a bit misleading.
Right.
But then he also wrote My Teacher is an Alien, and that's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
Don't want to confuse the kids on that one. No big twist there. And then there were like three books. That was a long ass series, but there were like 3 books in that series that all had variations of My Teacher is an Alien. It's like My Other Teacher is an Alien.
Oh no. My math teacher is an alien. My science teacher is an alien.
I think one of the books actually was something like that. Like my insert class teacher was an alien.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the thing that was really funny about those was they were packaged as being like kind of like a horror kind of story.
Okay.
Like a body snatchers, like potential like alien invasion like kind of dealy. And it turned out like they're just like explorers basically who are just checking out our planet, and they decide that we're all douchebags.
Okay.
And they're just gonna lock us in our solar system to keep us from fucking up the rest of the galaxy.
Okay. That seems like a good idea.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, no. And the nerdy kid's like, But we have to go into the solar into space because of Star Trek.
Yeah, I want Star Trek actually.
I don't know why we're on this topic of weird shit I read as a kid.
Yeah, it was, because Beowulf.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because Beowulf.
And I mean, look, I don't know what the original Grendel's mom looked like.
She was like a big, like, snake underwater dragon kind of dealy, depending on your interpretation of the passage.
Yeah, but she.
But the cool bit that like movies that adaptations never include is that Grendel could only get to her by like swimming down into this lake of blood, and he had to like keep inhaling these like blood bubbles
Huh.
that would pop up to get air.
Oh, okay.
It was like one of those water stages in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, because she was in the underwater.
Yeah.
It wasn't under, like, the cave went into the. It was a coastal cave and it went underground.
Right, exactly.
But, I mean, I like Gold Naked Angelina better. Probably. But it was. I mean, I would have.
But they also leave out the fact that like even though Beowulf has a cool ass like sword with a special name and everything, like it doesn't work on anything.
Yeah.
Because all the monsters are super broken. So he just has to fucking strangle like everything to death with his bare hands.
Freaking.
Because that's how awesome Beowulf is.
Yeah, it was. I would have liked to have seen her transform, but they never did it. Like, it only showed her as Angelina, and it was, heavily implied that she was actually a massive sea dragon or something. And
Okay, so vaguely along
and
the
Beowulf,
lines of the story?
the kid she had, Grendel, was just a weird looking, like, Hunchback of Notre Dame, like, weird guy. Because the king's seed like wasn't very good or whatever, but in continuity with her being the sea dragon, her and Beowulf's spawn was a big old kraken basically. So they kind of kept with the aquatic theme there, and you were just left with, well, I guess the king was impotent or something.
Well, why'd they make Grendel a puss?
Well, he wasn't he was like a big old, he was like a giant cave troll kind of guy. He was a big, strong monster that only Beowulf could defeat. But he wasn't. The Kraken was a success. He was a glorious monster because Beowulf was badass and she's an awesome sea dragon. But Grendel was just like, like they just gobbled the Play-Doh together, and it wasn't. It wasn't very good Play-Doh.
They made a Hodor.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. So,
I saw that there's a YouTube. I guess and I'm sure there's more than one of these, but I saw that there's a Twitter account named Hodor, and the profile picture is Hodor, and every single one of his tweets consists of Hodor.
nice. That's amazing. That's my second favorite Twitter account now, next to Monica's.
Hey, I guess right.
Oh, look at that. That guy looks cool. Ooh, I like his weird mutating hand.
Yeah, that's the necromancer. Well, this is the necromancer's apprentice. So I rather like the story for the necromancer. Basically, the ancestor, because he was very prone to just like learning new horrible things he could do.
Yeah.
That was his hobby. He invites a bunch of necromancers to teach him how to raise the dead.
Okay.
And after he feels he can learn like everything that he can from them, he decides to try out his new abilities by killing all of them.
Oh, and then raising them?
And then raising them back from the dead. But, and I mean, this is going to come as a shock to you. When you raise a bunch of undead wizards, when you take a bunch of wizards and turn them into undead wizards who still have their magical powers, it's not a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
So he went whoops and abandoned what then became the ruins, and the undead wizards just went around and made a shitload of more undead.
Yeah.
They have literally nothing else to do with their lives. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ancestor was a cool guy.
Now I'm kind of sad that you don't have your own thing, the thing lady, because he popped out his hand and it went all Akira, and then she could like rip her torso open and go all Akira back on it.
Oh, her, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's only the apprentice, so I'm gonna have to fight the real guy eventually.
God, he's just like wrecking him.
Well, that's why I brought the Crusader. The Crusader passively gets more damage against undead creatures.
Oh, okay.
So he's really good in the ruins. Less so in... But, I mean, vanilla at least, he kind of falls off when you're in other places.
Yeah.
But that's why I have the mods to make everybody's kits a little bit more diverse.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still a good pick here.
Freaking So there is so much gaming news that I have to get to some of it in this video.
Oh, okay.
Before.
I mean, I wish you told me because we were talking about fucking like Beowulf.
No. We had to talk about Beowulf. It's good, but I just wanted to.
I don't even remember why we started talking about Beowulf.
Because oh god, why is that?
But it was somehow necessary.
Yeah, it was. No, it had to be done. Plus, the Beowulf, we were more entertaining there than when I just rattle off the news anywhere.
Well, why don't you save the news for the next video?
Okay.
That'll be the cliffhanger.
Okay, yeah, very good.
Also, fucking Dismas now has to go to the asylum because he's obsessed with material things.
Oh wait.
That means he's gonna go all touchy-touchy on everything.
Oh yeah. Tubi got winded.
I mean, robots.
Women
Well,
and men,
not
soldiers
robots.
and outlaws,
Gynoids.
fools.
Oh wow, there's gonna be 6 more recruits than usual
All
this
will
time.
find their
Ooh.
way to us.
Hopefully one of them is an Artorias. I only saw the one and I accidentally passed him up before.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wait, who's that top one?
Nope. That's another Twilight Knight.
Oh, okay. Do we have one of them?
Yeah, I got one of those.
Oh, okay.
So, nothing I really need or want. I mean, I could get an Antiquarian, but I don't like Antiquarians. And I only have space for 3 more guys right now.
Okay, and you've already got the cool lady.
Yeah, I've already got.
You've got the Akira lady.
Got all these other guys.
Who's my favorite now. I like her.
Okay, so I guess we'll cut the video here, and I'll do like all the
Yeah, we'll do all the
bookkeeping
boring
and
crap.
whatnot, yeah, off screen.
All right.
We'll see you guys in the next video.
Next time.